Alrighty. um, so this is another weekly energy update. By the way, I need to start out by saying thank you so much for everyone that's joined on this channel, subscribed, and also just like been watching my videos. I am so humbly like grateful, truly. Like, I did not expect that to happen. And clearly, by I don't know, divine forces, like, I don't know, like that unicorn video spoke to you guys. And I'm like, there's many of you unicorns out there. And I love that. So again, thank you so much. Truly, I was just feeling so much gratitude the past couple of days and like literally had tears of joy. So thank you. I'm sending you all that gratitude and well being and everything just back to you guys. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Um, and yeah, let's get into the weekly energy update. What's really interesting, and I was wondering if I don't know if you guys watched the last one, the weekly channeled energy update last week, because this is following, like, it's crazy. It's crazy how this is following the one from last week. Because oftentimes when I was like always channeling and looking into like what's going to happen for this upcoming week, I don't know if it was always following the last week. I can't remember, but it always felt separate, unless I don't know, unless because you guys are coming in more like that wave analogy keeps coming back to me, but maybe I'm just tuning into you guys more. I have no idea, but it's beautiful. Yeah, so let's get into it because it's definitely connected from last week. So again, if you watched last week and you're tuning in, this is going to be like a continuation. So last week was all about love. I was shocked. So much love energy, which is great. Which is great for those of us who are calling that in and wanting that beautiful divine love, that reciprocal, balanced, healthy love that we all know that we all should be experiencing. It kind of makes sense that we need to heal the things within us that are stopping us from experiencing that and making us go back to old patterns of love, right? We're done with that. So last week, again, I'll kind of do a little recap just in case you haven't watched it. Um, it was about healing old wounds, having all of that stuff come up within you that was blocking you from experiencing the type of love that you so desire, right? So you could have been feeling tired, more in hermit mode last week, just like really looking at your shadow side, which honestly, there's nothing wrong with that. Allow it to happen. So for those of you that maybe at the end of the week that was happening and you're still doing that, because again, it's Monday. If you're still going through that, let it happen, okay? Because I did write down, and this was coming up, that like you're still going through that. Some of you who began looking at those shadows, looking at those wounds earlier on in the week, or it's just this is just something that you've been doing for the past couple of months, right? And last week was just one of the other weeks to look at more things that were kind of like the gunk that was keeping you blocked from love. Um, so some of you are moving into the release and integration phase of that, right? Because when you spend time looking at your shadows, alchemizing your shadows, understanding the root cause of them. You have to now go through an integration period, right? It's a recalibration of your system, of your psyche, of your subconscious mind, basically telling you that, like, yes, I have learned the lesson. Now let me integrate it, let me embody it, right? Because coming back to the body and having that like bodily experience is very, very, very important. Yes, you can have the mental, of course, you can do all of the, mental stuff around it, but you have to come back to the body. You have to feel it with your body. You have to alchemize it with your body, and then it recalibrates. So, this week, for some of you who are doing that, you'll probably be feeling tired, right? Because that is the recalibration. You need rest in order to integrate and recalibrate your system from whatever you have been transmuting. Allow it. Allow it to happen. Don't fight it. Don't get into this mode of, oh, well, I'm not doing anything. I'm being lazy. I just need to do, or just no. Your body's telling you what it needs. Listen to it. If your body's telling you, I need to rest, and that rest looks like it's lazy, be lazy. Who cares? No one's judging you. Do what you need to do so that your body can come back into balance. And you will know, you'll feel this. Guys, like I have talked about this. When we feel things, we never stay in that state, right? We'll feel the like tiredness, right? And if we honor it, we'll go into feeling more inspired and taking more action. And then there's times where we feel happy, and then there's times that we feel sad. Just honor those emotional states, right? Because they never last, and there's a reason why it's coming up in you. Instead of trying to be so logical about it, just be with it. Sometimes, like, to be honest, and I'll share this because I've done a lot of this work. There's times I will feel sadness or grief, and I don't even know why. And I'm a very introspective person. I will sit and I will be like, okay, why? Like, I do ask myself questions of like, okay, why is this coming up? Where is this coming up from? What's the root cause of this? Blah, blah, blah. Like, I do that kind of work. And there are times where that comes up, and there are times where I literally have no idea why I feel the way that I feel. And a lot of the time people will be like, "Well, I don't know why I feel this way. So now, like, I need to feel better. I need to feel good. I need to." No, honor the feeling. Sometimes you won't know in that moment. Sometimes you have to let that process and be like, "Oh, wait a minute. That's what it was." Or sometimes, like, if you're sensitive as myself, it'll be the collective that you're feeling. Whatever, you know, the collective is currently going through, that you yourself are also transmuting, right? I know I'm a part of this, and I know that some of you are as well, right? If you're very sensitive, you will help alchemize what other people are feeling, and they don't even know why, right? It's just part of the role, whatever. It's literally like being an empath, basically. But and I know some people will say, well, you shouldn't. Well, that's not the thing. It's like it's freaking energy. You feel the energy, just transmute it. It's not going to last with you forever. Just transmute it, feel it, let it go, move on, right? So, yeah, there's, like I said, so this week is all about integration and kind of like metamorphosis, right? Because again, yes, you can have like a big major death and rebirth, but truly there's a lot of like mini deaths and rebirths in our life, and also in that like big death and rebirth, there are like the mini death and rebirths that kind of equate this big one, right? So this is just, again, shedding your skin, shedding what no longer serves you. And like I said, integrating from integrating what you have learned and releasing past wounds, right? And again, this does feel like it's tied to love. It doesn't have to be. It could also just be like other things, but just because last week, like I said, I've talked a lot about love, it kind of feels like it's tied in with that. And also, I was just getting so many love messages throughout the week, which I'm sure you guys saw. And there's one tomorrow as well. Like there's one scheduled tomorrow to come out. Which I'm just like, I feel like I also have another one, which is I'm just like, what is going on? There's so many messages, which whatever. I'm glad I'm just riding and honoring that wave of energy and momentum. So yeah, just expect more rest this week. And again, if you're the one that still is alchemizing, alchemize, honor, look at your shadows, right? Because what I also wrote down is that some of you, and I feel like this is kind of tied to men more just because men tend to be a little bit more resistant in their own vulnerability, in their own process of looking at their shadows. Again, I know this won't apply to everyone. I know that. That's why I say most men. Obviously, there's some women in there as well that resist the shadow work, but really, like, you need to stop resisting it. This resistance in looking and alchemizing your shadows and pain is what's keeping you blocked in love. It's keeping you blocked to all the old patterns and all the old cycles in love or anything else really. Anything else that is from the past that you want to move on from. If you don't look at those shadows, if you guys are resisting it because it's painful to look at, I'm telling you, you're going back to old cycles. Like you can't move into a new phase if you don't like learn from the lesson and integrate the lesson, right? Think about it in school, right? When you do a test and you fail the test, are you going to have to write the test again? Of course, until you pass it, right? If you fail a grade, a lot of the time you had to repeat that grade. You can't move through it. You can't just be like, well, maybe I'll just slide right into a new type of relationship that I've always wanted without learning the lessons, without integrating my shadows and alchemizing them and looking at my pain and seeing why I do the self-sabotaging things that I do in love or in life or whatever. You can't, because you haven't embodied it. You haven't come into balance and you haven't realized that the issue is you. By the way, guys, this is work I have also done on myself. This is how I'm talking. I talk to myself, which is why which is why you see like I don't have a problem with it. I will talk to myself this way as well. I'll be like, all right, let's look at this. It's not pretty. It's not nice. But we got to look at it. We got to understand it. We got to alchemize it. We got to see that the problem, whatever I'm dealing with, is me. And that's not an issue to say that. That's actually a very um mature thing to realize about yourself that hey, like I might be the problem in this. I need to look at myself and see what I'm doing that is blocking myself from having whatever. And by the way, I will add that I don't believe you have to be 1000% healed in order to like get the love of your life or live your ideal life. Do you have to be on the journey? Of course. Of course, right? Think about it. Actually, now that test um analogy is coming back to me, right? If you fail a test, you'll have to repeat it, right? I know in Canada, I know we do percentages. I think in Europe too. I know in the States is different, so I don't really understand how that works. I guess it's an F. But if you get below 50%, like, you failed the test. You're gonna have to take it again, right? Do you have to be 100% healed, right? Get 100% or an A plus 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 whatever, I don't know, um, to move on? Like, yeah, you can, of course, though I don't ever believe we're at 100 completely, but anyway, can you also be at, like, um 50% or 60% or 7, like, whatever that threshold, do you understand? That threshold is, you've passed, you're moving on. You are moving away from the old echoes and the old cycles of love, of whatever your pattern was. You're moving on, right? Because that energy that you're alchemizing, those pains and wounds that you're alchemizing, however many percentages that you've done, and thank you, Lee, for letting me know. Like I said, I don't know, I didn't grow up in the States, so I don't I don't know. Dear F is a failure. Okay, thank you. um Whatever percentages that you have, like, however much you've, I'm trying to, like, understand, let me see how I can put this, but however much you have, like, moved away from that old energy, like, you're moving on to new currents. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're still moving on. So that's why you don't have to be fully, completely, 1000% healed in something in order to receive something, right? So don't get fooled by people telling you, "Well, you know what? You have to be like 1000% healed in order to, get the life that you want or the job that you want or the love of the life that you want." Like, no. Do you need to be on the way? Absolutely, right? And do you continue that work even more so? Yeah, like, especially in love, like, guys, your partner will be your greatest mirror, will be your greatest challenge. If your partner's not challenging you, I don't think you have the person then. It shouldn't be an easy love. Do you know what I mean? And by the way, I don't mean toxic. Challenging you to see what you have learned, right? Challenging you into becoming the greatest person, the greatest version of yourself for the both of you, right? That's not an easy thing to look at that kind of a mirror that's right in front of you and continue like unlayering yourself and seeing your wounds and seeing your shadows. That's the work, right? So all right, guys, I kind of I went on a tangent. But okay, so basically, yeah, there's two groups of you. Again, like I said, this kind of resonates with last week as well. Again, if you're resonating with this, watch last week because that was a really good message. Um, so the ones that are still looking at your shadows, which, like I said, I feel like is mostly men in this case. Of course, there's some women as well. Continue to look at your shadows. Continue to surrender to looking at it and feeling the pain, feeling the trauma, feel it because that's how you alchemize it. And be with it, be with yourself. You can go into hermit mode, that's fine. You can reach out to people who are, actually, I don't know if I want to say that because there's so many people who don't really understand a healthy dynamic. So maybe don't reach out to people unless you know that their relationship is like rock solid, right? But just do your inner work. Surrender to that. Truly surrender to it because when you do that, you're going to be stripped away from those old cycles in love, you know? Just release your control and surrender to the unknown as best as you can, right? So some of you are still doing that this week, and the ones that did this last week, you're going into integration mode, right? Yeah, you have to feel to heal. Exactly. You have to feel to heal. Thank you, Lee. um, and yeah, so like I said, some of you are moving into just more rest, surrender, integration, recalibration of your system. Okay, so just let yourself sleep, rest, and recover. Okay, let me see what else I wrote. Okay, yeah, so some of you that are shedding, releasing things, and like I said, it is still connected to love. It feels like you're also healing things, from your family line, okay? So just pay attention to that. Pay attention to what's coming up. It does feel like for a lot of you, it's like which makes sense actually, like, past hurts in love that was from your family. So whatever you saw your mom and dad go through or whatever, like, representation of love that they were giving to you as a child that wasn't healthy, it feels like you're gonna be looking at that and alchemizing it. Like whether, you receive that love is unsafe or that relationships are, not good or like whatever the case is. I don't know. For everyone, it's gonna be different. So you're just gonna be looking at that and healing it. A lot of you are the generational curse breaker. And good on you. It's not an easy thing. I have been through that as well. I had to look at my ancestral stuff, my family line stuff, and my God, that was heavy. That wasn't easy. It's not easy to do that, but it has to end with somebody because do you really want to pass that along if you do end up having a child, right? Do you want to pass that along? So, yeah, look at that, alchemize it because I know when I have done this, when I have looked at my ancestral or just family line, pain, trauma, stuff like that, when I alchemized that, I felt their gratitude. I felt their gratitude of because like they didn't have the capacity or awareness or consciousness to heal that. And energy has to go somewhere. So energy moves to the next person until somebody says, enough is enough. I need to look at this and I need to heal it. And I'm telling you, when you do, like, I felt the release. It was specifically from my mother's line. And I felt their gratitude of like, thank you for releasing us. Thank you for alchemizing all this pain. It's a very beautiful thing, an honorable thing, truly. So, like I said, surrender into that, okay? Because you really don't want to be repeating these patterns. You don't want to be passing these things down, okay? Um, okay. There's also there's something about communication this week, okay? Whether it actually happens this week or shortly after. There's a current here, there's an energy here of wanting communication and clarity. So you either desire to receive clarity in a certain situation. This could be tied to love, most likely, since again, I've been talking about love last week and also this week. It also just could be tied to maybe a job or something around a situation. But there's something that you either desire that clarity in whatever situation, or you're the one that wants to give the clarity to somebody else because it's been on your mind. And I'm just going to go back to love for a second, just again, because this has been kind of heavy in the air. It could be around, and again, this does tie into the wounds, the pain, whatever, right? It could be someone you're in a relationship with or you've been interested in or something like that, that maybe they just kind of went cold or they're distant, you're not really sure what's going on, or you're that person, whatever the case. Apply this however it fits for you. Um, and, the person who has done the purging, the alchemization, may want to actually reach out to you and tell you, which is actually a very beautiful thing. So I wrote, be compassionate and forgiving, because this is how people heal. Again, you will decide what you want to do with whatever this clarity, with whatever this communication is that's tied to this person or this thing. You will decide what you want to do, but still be compassionate and forgiving, okay? Because that does take a lot, especially if it's a man, especially if it's a man coming to a woman, because I know how high your walls are and how, your ego will tell you, "No, be the man, da, da, da," whatever, right? I know how hard sometimes that is for a man to be vulnerable, right? So, ladies, if it's a man being vulnerable with you, just be compassionate, okay? Like, it took him a lot of courage probably to come to you, to message you, to be communicative with you, and be emotionally vulnerable and expressive with you. So just hold space for that, okay? And again, you will decide what you need to do in that situation because everybody's situation is different. But hold space. Be compassionate, forgiving. Forgiving doesn't mean you go back to a toxic situation if it was toxic. It just forgiveness is also just releasing yourself from holding on to whatever conflict or person or thing, right? So be mindful of that because communication was coming out very strongly for this week. So there's clarity, communication around something. Receive it and listen compassionately to what this is, okay? And then you'll decide what to do. Yeah, I wrote, feels like this week is leading to more open-hearted communication with loved ones, people who have done you wrong even, or who have hurt you, could be from an ex. I don't know. Like everyone's situation is different, so I don't know. Um, but I did write that this truth and clarity that will be coming out, like this communication that's coming out, will be working out in your favor and in your highest good. Okay, almost like a wish being granted for some of you. Again, apply it as it should. Just use your intuition. You'll know how this fits with your situation. Uh, okay, so that kind of feels, yeah, about that whole love, metamorphosis, release, integration, alchemy, communication part feels like, yeah, that's pretty much done. What I did right, and this is because it also feels like a creative time. Feels like it's gonna be a creative week, and it's literally tying into, for those of you that are looking at your pain, are looking at your wounds, what's a very interesting thing that happens that I have experienced is when you alchemize that pain, oftentimes it translates into an creative expression. So if you're like a painter, a writer, I don't know, you do something creative, you're going to be channeling that energy through that expression. Or if you're doing what I'm doing, right? You're channeling that through. Use it. That's your fuel, right? And that's a very beautiful way of, alchemizing that energy as well. Like, sometimes when I'm in a very painful, spot, yeah, I'll look at it, yeah, I'll alchemize it, but the next wave that comes in is to put something like, I just have this surge of energy of, like, I need to channel this through because it will help somebody else. So, have that if that is coming through, okay? And that's also tied to rest, guys, okay? When you rest, when you allow yourself to rest, especially that integration portion, I'm telling you, like, like, I've experienced this so many times where it's like all of a sudden you wake up like the next day and then you're just like, okay, I'm in creative mode. I need to create. Let me put things out, right? Create, 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 create. So use it as your fuel. Recharge and use it as your fuel. And there's still more recognition coming in for you guys. Um, if you haven't watched the video that I made about like all eyes on you, go watch it, especially if you resonate with by the way, guys, thank you for all the comments that are coming in. I'm just not watching as much because I kind of want to get this through. I'll check in a second. Um yeah, whatever you're creating, for those of you that are using your beautiful gifts, your beautiful expression, like I said, whether that's your voice, like doing what I'm doing, um, writing, singing, painting, whatever, I don't care, whatever that creative expression is, you guys are getting recognized. More people are going to be noticing you because you're tapping into your magnetism. Go like go watch that if you're resonating with this and you're creative. Go watch that video, All Eyes on You. I think I did it last week because this is what's happening, and it's not coming from a place of lack. It's not coming from a place of needing validation. It's just coming from a place of like you have been like on this journey of reclaiming yourself, of putting yourself out there, of releasing your gifts without needing somebody to freaking clap for you. And because of that, it's coming in now. Like, oh, like this is amazing. This is awesome. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful work, guys. And I'm proud of you guys who are actually doing it. And you're doing it from a very authentic place. Not for likes, not for like, yes, that's the, I guess you could say like benefit from, putting yourself out there. But if you don't do it from a place of needing that, like that eventually comes to you. So yeah, I wrote, there's just more recognition, more eyes on you this week because you're magnetic. You're in your own energy and you're thriving. So this is just like beautiful, beautiful energy. Yeah, and I wrote, continue sharing whatever you're creating. Especially also if you've been alchemizing stuff, use it as fuel. Channel that beautiful energy through because people will resonate with it. They resonate with those stories. They resonate with that energy because they know what that is, right? So, yeah. But also, yeah, I wrote new ideas, inspirations, and hope restored, especially when you allow yourself to rest and surrender. So I like it. You know what? I like it. This week sounds. Oh, there's like a hawk flying, which I never see hawks here. Interesting. Maybe that's a sign for somebody. Um yeah, this week feels like it's a what's the word that I'm looking for? Like rebounds? Rebounds? Is that a thing? I don't know. I don't know. Like, it's just rebouncing from last week, rebouncing from all the blah energy, right? And to be honest, guys, I was there with you. Like, funny, it's really interesting how some of these things really resonate with me as well. But again, as within, so without, as above, so below type of thing, right? Um, yeah. Yeah, rest and refuel this week and communicate your truth. I will say this, like, if you're the person that wants to um be authentic and clear and emotionally expressive and vulnerable with somebody, do it. It's going to bring you peace. And don't have any expectations of how that's going to go, right? Because that can make you like kind of stumble and not want to communicate because you have an expectation of how it's going to go. Just communicate. And by the way, this is how you start rewriting that pain and trauma of like that fear of being vulnerable and seen and whatever, just start communicating. Start telling people. People are not going to read your mind, right? And for those of you receiving communication, like I said, just be compassionate, okay? It'll take a lot for that person to come to you and send you a message or something, right? Or and communicate with you. So just hold space. Alrighty. The numbers that were coming out was 3 and 7. So 3 is all about the Trinity, which have to do with like relationships, um, collaborations, communication, and creativity. So it fits perfectly for this week. 7 is about spiritual alignment, integration, and personal mastery of whatever you're going through. So again, it's very fitting for what's happening this week. The animal that was coming out for this week, which also actually very much resonates with this whole message, and again, this could be a sign for you, was the bear. And the bear is all about hibernation and retreat, resting, recovering, going into the cave, being like isolated hermit mode and looking at your shadows, right? Integrating them and resting, right? So, yeah, so despite all the healing work, communications. Oh yeah, I also wrote there's going to be a lot more like social gatherings. So you'll be going to like events, invited to stuff, collaborations. There's something about community here as well that's really been coming out this week. So yeah, despite all the healing work, communication, social gatherings, creativity, take time to rest and recharge, stay grounded, protect your energy, and honor your boundaries. So the bear is like fierce, but also tender, right? So it's like take action and be disciplined when needed, but also just like heal, rest, and emotionally like release, right? So, yeah, that's what you can expect this week. Wow, I've been going on for 40 minutes. And to be honest, the first like chunk of this, I don't even remember what I was really saying. That was literally all just like streaming through. Thank you for the comments, guys. I know I didn't really look at the chat. I'm just letting go of anything and anyone who's manipulating me. Abso-freaking-lutely. That's where the freaking boundaries come in, and do not allow anybody like that. They need to go on their journey and do their own healing work, right? Because that manipulation is just coming from a wounded place, right? Awesome, guys. Thank you so much. Truly, thanks for joining. Thank you for subscribing. Like I said, I'm really grateful because my path here is of truth, of integrity, and of helping you guys come back to yourselves, come back to your own truth, come back to your heart. So, if you resonate with that, like, continue tuning in because I know that I'm on this path to help you remember who you truly are. And like I said, just coming back into balance, into your wholeness and into your heart. So I don't know where this journey is going to lead, but I'm excited. Thank you. Thank you again for just being in my energy and receiving. Um, Thank you so much. I'm sending you guys so much love and take it easy this week. Okay. All right, guys. Love you all. Bye.